Hey guys, I know the shirt, but we're not here to talk about the shirt. I'm here to tell you about macOS Big Sur, the biggest update to macOS since macOS 10. With Apple introducing a new look that's modern yet familiar, and one that focuses solely on consistency and content. Big Sur was also a big under the hood change and likely a prerequisite to those new ARM-based M1 Macs. If you've already upgraded, you probably noticed all the colorful new wallpapers available. But what else is new with this upgrade? A little hint. It's not just the return of the startup chime. Let's take a look. Hey, it's Andy, welcome back. But if you're new here on this channel, I talk about tech, news, reviews, and tutorials just like this one, so please consider subscribing. And I release a new video every week, so don't forget to hit that bell so you get notified. So Apple's latest macOS update is Big Sur. But with this, you will still find a very familiar operating system with lots of changes under the hood. And this update was a couple main things. First, it was a base rewrite to optimize the OS for the new ARM-based M1 Macs. Signifying this being a major change, you'll even notice how Apple has gone away from macOS 10 to macOS version 11. Apple's macOS and their mobile operating systems are coming another step closer, and we see evidence of this spread across the user interface. You can run iPad and iOS apps on the new M1 based Apple Silicon Macs, and this is yet another move towards that universal app Apple ecosystem. Apple has always been very developer friendly. I think that's the strategy here. In the background, when your Mac reboots after being upgraded to Big Sur, you will probably notice the return of that chime. Back in 2016, Apple removed this iconic sound, so if you have a Mac from before 2016 like I do, you probably never missed it, and you probably never noticed. But if you're a true Apple nerd, of course you already knew this. Another thing most people will notice is that system sounds have been updated across the OS. Now, I for one am not a big fan of this, but this really just comes down to preference and probably something most people will just get used to. Something else you may not even notice, or at least that's the point, is the new faster OS updates. These will now begin in the background, making it less intrusive, and once the update is ready, you will get prompted for install and will hopefully lose less time of your life waiting for the update to finish. Awesome. But how about things you will definitely notice? The first thing we probably notice is all the changed aesthetics. And you see this across all of the windows and designs across all of the applications in macOS Big Sur. Most notably, the new lighter appearance all the windows have, with the new cleaner look, rounded edges, and new translucent appearance. And this even goes down to the open, save, and print dialogues that have been updated. Now I have all these apps open so I can show you that there's even an update to the new sidebar across all the Macs, bringing consistency to the way all the application windows are going to look. On the desktop, there are new wallpapers available, as you see. New options to display images of Big Sur itself, along with different options of Big Sur, including dynamic ones like the one I'm showing you, which will change throughout the day without you probably noticing. And lastly, app icons have also received an update and show now a new uniform square shape that resemble their iOS counterparts. And no, the similarities to iOS don't stop there. If we look in the top right corner of the screen, we will notice that Control Center has come to the Mac. And honestly, this is where things start to look very touchscreen friendly, as a lot of these controls look very similar to iOS, with the display brightness sliders, sound sliders, and everything else. You can even drill down into the menus in Control Center by just clicking on a menu, clicking back. And this is customizable. You can take things inside your Control Center and just drag them up to your menu bar if you prefer that, or inside settings itself, there's a new dock and menu bar setting where you can control the things that you can see inside of Control Center. So I'm going to turn that off. I like everything inside Control Center. Oddly enough, there are a few things that are still not available in Control Center for some reason, like Spotlight, Siri, and Time Machine. So if you're a minimalist and you really don't like to have all these different things on your menu bar, but you like to have them accessible, there's currently still no other option for those. Staying in the top right corner of the screen, Notifications receives an update as well, where you will see grouped notifications and widgets, looking very iOS-esque, and they act exactly the same way as well. I can now edit and add widgets of all different sizes. Right now, at time of release, there's only options available for Apple's built-in widgets. So we can add different sizes of these, drop them right in there. But as third-party developers have access to the operating system, there should be more options coming. Messages sees a lot of updates, and really a lot of them that we're already used to from those that brought about in iOS 14. Where we'll now have better search across all of our messages for media, pictures, or posts. You can now create messaging groups and pin messages and groups at the top for quick access. And of course, there's inline replies and mentions. Again, all the same iOS 14 features now on the Mac. Safari sees a host of new updates. What macOS update would be complete without Safari updates? Apple says that Safari is 50% faster and is more energy efficient than ever. So those of us on laptops are really going to love that. There is new support for tabs. You can now have more tabs open, and as you hover over them, you will see Safari create a little tab preview without you clicking on the tab. Safari extensions have now been moved to the Apple App Store, so making them a little easier to find. So maybe this opens up some potential for third-party developers to bring more extensions to Safari. But even bigger news for extensions is Safari's new support for Web Extensions API, which means Google extensions can now be brought to Safari. Safari also now supports 4K video streaming for the likes of YouTube and Netflix. And a very cool feature brought about in beta at the time of release is on-the-fly translations. You see here I have a web page fully in Spanish. This is the Spanish web page of Wikipedia. But in the address bar, you will see this translation button. You can select your preferred language, click it, and voila. We've translated to English. But like I said, this is released in beta at the time of Big Sur release, so potential improvements to come. And the best for last, there are some start page customizations. If you look in the bottom right corner of your Safari start page, you'll see some new gear icons. Click on that. You can now hit the checkbox to see which sections you want to see in your start page, your reading list, your favorites, etc. Even a privacy report, which, when we dive into that, shows you a host of information about how many things Safari has prevented from tracking you and what other websites are trying to track you. So Apple has always had a spotlight on privacy, and they just continue that here. Very awesome. I saved the best for last. In the startup menu, you can now add a background image. Click on background image. There's a couple preset in here, but I selected my own, and boom. Now it looks like my Safari. I think our Chrome already had this, but hey, for the Safari fans out there, this is a win, right? We'll take a win when we can get it. Of course, with every Mac OS update, all of the pre-built-in apps get updates, so I'm not going to cover all of them. So you're going to see new improvements across the board in weather, maps, reminders, all of them. Here are some notable ones for you. In Photos, you will see new photo and video editing options, including a new retouch tool powered by new machine learning features. Of course, improved Spotlight search as we see in every macOS update. Better AirPod switching. Apple claims is coming with Big Sur, but you have to have a pair of AirPods that support automatic AirPod switching. HomeKit adding new facial recognition and activity zones for better notifications, and of course, Siri gets a few enhancements here as well. If you haven't updated yet, I see no reason to hold back. As usual, macOS updates are free, and Big Sur was released on November 12th, so there's been plenty of time for Apple to work out all the bugs. Here's a list of all the compatible Macs to date, so if you haven't updated yet, I urge you to do so. For now, the macOS is still a different animal than those mobile OSes in Apple's lineup, iPadOS and iOS, but things are starting to converge. And with those new ARM-based M1 processors, the pieces are starting to fall into place for that one unified OS vision. And maybe touchscreens? Here's to hoping. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.